All right. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are, and welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is our sixth in this series, Get in the G Suite Groove. Today's all about Gmail and I guess what we're calling Gmail secrets. So, what are some of the key features of Gmail that have been released recently that maybe you don't know about? Or what are some features of Gmail that have been around for a while, but maybe you've never actually started using? So, that's our goal with today's session. I know a lot of folks are just joining. You haven't missed anything yet. Thanks for coming in. Sorry about the crossed paths there with different links. Let's hop into the next slide. Just briefly talk about some housekeeping. You all know this already because you've all been to a few of these probably, or at least some of you have. Just keep yourself muted throughout today's session. If you do have questions, you're going to just use chat to ask those questions. I'll answer them at the end of the session. I'm going to try and save some time at the end for questions, so don't hesitate to write them now if you have a question now or throughout the session, and I'll hit as many as I can at the end of our time together. We got a lot of more folks joining. Sorry about the cross paths there. Thanks for popping into this one. We appreciate it. Today's goal is pretty simple, right? You use Gmail every day, and you probably use it all day, every day. And so we heard from you. You want to know some things about Gmail that get us excited, and some features within Gmail that we're using day to day that maybe you don't know about. So how do you get more out of Gmail? How do you discover those new features? And then when you're using those new features, how can you maybe unlock some new efficiencies in Gmail? That's our goals for today. We'll see if we hit all of those. One more thing, I already said it, but I'll say it again today. It's not going to be a basic training, right? We're going to hit some more deeper features of Gmail. So if you're looking to learn how labels work, don't leave, hang out till the end. I can get you a link to our intro to Gmail training, but this one's not that. The idea behind this is to give you maybe some deeper knowledge into Gmail. All right, so we're 3 minutes in. I think a lot of folks have joined now. Hopefully that slows down as the folks who are in the other one. Thanks everyone for joining this one. Sorry about the cross paths there. I'm gonna hop right into Gmail as we always do, and the rest of the session is live demo. And where I'm gonna start today is search. I think search is really the differentiator of Gmail, and whether you've been using Gmail since it was invite only, and you got the invite in 2004, or you just started using it a month ago, search can be at times incredibly exciting and incredibly confounding. And there's a new feature within search that I think a lot of folks might benefit from. So when I'm talking about search, I'm talking to everyone in the room, right? Whether you have labels on the left side and you have tons of filters set up, or you have 1,000 emails in your inbox and you don't know how you're going to get through 10 of them today, search can benefit everyone, and being effective at search can really benefit everyone. So when I do a search, I run into a lot of end users. When I do a search, well, I run into a lot of end users who, when they do a search, they type in a keyword and you just hit enter and you're going to get a lot of results, right? And the way Gmail works is it's going to search your most recent block of emails first. And so you'll see maybe, I only got 181 emails that have training somewhere in them. But if I hit this older arrow, it's just going to keep searching further and further back. And so quickly, this is where the confounding thing, quickly you get frustrated by this and you get overwhelmed with the search results. And so what I recommend for folks is, instead of doing that keyword search, there's a few different ways you can do it. You could click this drop down here. Most of you probably know about that, to narrow your search results in. But what I like to do is actually use search operators. And so let's say I'm looking for an email to me, which seems like an odd thing to type in, but I promise you it'll make sense, from a specific person, maybe my colleague Sarah. I can just type in to:me from that email address, and it's going to find those emails right away. And you can see here, I still get a lot of results, but now I'm not getting emails that were sent to another colleague where I was CC'd on. These are emails that were sent just to me. Another one that I use all the time is has attachment. So I'm looking for a specific email, has attachment. And again, I can say from a specific sender. So quickly I can narrow those search results down. And the last one that I love to use, and I use it a lot because I use stars a lot, is has a specific star. So if you use a different colored star. Maybe you've set up a star system where you have red stars, or maybe on my screen here, you can see green checks. You can actually search for those. So if I say has red star, I'm able to narrow those search results down to just those emails that have red stars. So there's a lot of search operators out there, and this is a good opportunity for me to just give you the list here quickly. I see questions coming in. That's awesome. I'll come back to those questions, but keep them coming. But click on that link for search operators if that's something that interests you. But what I like to do is take those search operators. So if I go back here and I say, from my colleague Sarah. So any email from sarah@demo.agosto.com. I take those search operators and I use them in combination with this new release that is probably my most exciting thing in Gmail since I've been using it. It's called Search Chips. They're right below your search results here. So when you do a search, whether you do a keyword search or a search operator like I just did, you can quickly narrow those search results even further with these so-called chips. So I click on exclude chats, for instance, and I say has attachment. And you can see here it's not just dumb chips, right? These chips are adjusting as I click into them. So now I can say has a specific type of attachment, which is a spreadsheet. So now I'm looking at just 31 emails instead of potentially several hundred, right? That quickly, I was able to narrow those search results down. Now, I ran this joke by my wife. She said it was okay, but I think the reason I really like these search chips right now is because we're eating chips like they're going out of style, right? I don't know if anyone else is eating more junk food since they've been locked in their home for several weeks, but search chips are my favorite thing that I've been using recently in Gmail, and they're a huge time saver when you think about finding older emails. And they work with keyword search too, right? So I go back in here and I do that first search I did, search training, right? I'm going to see those search chips here. I can say from Sarah Training, well, from Sarah Training excludes chats. To me, it's smart in that it remembers some of the searches I've done in the past and will adjust and give me those as search chips as well. So like everything else in Gmail, it's going to continue to learn from you and modify itself. So hopefully that gets you excited. So once you're done maybe searching for that specific email, the next thing that's relatively new that a lot of folks probably haven't taken advantage of is the ability to attach an email within another email. Now, for me, it's not something that I use, but I'm interacting with end users a lot. And over the past few years, this is not even close. This is the #1 feature that I've heard from folks that they want in Gmail. And it's here now. So if you didn't know that it's here, because maybe you don't ever think you'd use it, you should tell your colleagues because they might actually want to use this. So let's just use this as an example, and I'll just send an email to Dwight. I can just grab an email and drag it right into this email. It's that easy to attach an email to an email. I'm going to just actually send this to myself as well, because why the heck not? Because then we'll see it. I'll click send here. And then on the back end, of course, Dwight would get that email. But for demonstration purposes today, I wanted to see it as well. I'm going to click back into this. We're going to see, there's that email. When you click into it, this is the interface that they'll see. It's like an attachment. So it's truly an email attached to another email. Click into it. I can see that email. So it's just that easy to attach an email to another email. Now, again, if you don't think you'd use that, that's okay. And I don't talk a lot about change management in these webinars, but this is something that a lot of end users get excited about. And so I always encourage folks who don't know about this feature, tell your colleagues, tell your communications department. Maybe they could build a communication around this specific feature, because this is something that we heard from a lot of end users, and I think Google did as well when they created this. All right, so keeping on that same theme of end user requests or things that I hear from a lot of end users, the other one that I hear from a lot of folks, and this one's very fresh, is multiple signatures. It's another one that I wouldn't personally ever need, but a lot of folks really want this feature. And this one is literally a brand new feature. But if you click Compose in Gmail, if you have it already, you'll see it. It's just this little pencil right here. And it's as simple as, I'm just going to let someone into the meeting, click that pencil. you can now see that I have multiple signatures available. And out of the box, I have no signature set up here. So great, I can just delete that signature completely. Or if I click back into this, I can click on Manage Signatures, and it's going to let me create, if I delete this email, create new signatures. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'm never going to use that, which is what I was thinking as I was writing this webinar, what you could do is actually think about what's going on today. We're all working from home, and potentially you have your phone number on your signature, your office phone. Unless it's forwarding to your cell phone, unless it's forwarding voicemails to your email, you might not actually be getting those phone calls anymore. So maybe you adjust your signature just for now to create a new signature while you're working remotely. And everyone is, right? But just to let folks know, hey, the best way to reach me right now would be email instead of phone number. It's really easy to do, right? You just click create new. You can name it. So we could just call this one remote signature. Even go back to this one, copy this information. I'll get rid of my email to change it up a little bit. And then that's now a new signature. I can go down here and say remote signature would be the default for new emails and replies, and just save that change. It's that easy to set up a new signature, and you can toggle between the two, as we showed you earlier, by going down to that pencil once you're in it and going back to maybe my signature, for instance. So again, if I'm going to encourage you as maybe influencers within your organization, this is another opportunity to let folks know that there's another new feature that a lot of folks probably would get excited about. And especially in this day and age when there are different ways of interacting with folks, maybe you update your signature temporarily while we're all working remotely. Okay, so I send a lot of emails throughout the day. I'm just going to jump right into the next topic. And when I send those emails, what I like to do is potentially have a label on those emails. It takes an extra step up front, but a lot of my colleagues use filters, right? So in a project, they'll create a filter. So any email from this domain will go into this label, or any email from this sender who's the PM on that project will go into this label automatically. But there's always one-off emails in projects, or there's one-off emails that need a specific label that you can sort up front. So when you're sending an email, you can actually add a label so that first off, the sent email ends up in that label view on the left side. But also, if that sender replies to the email, it also gets auto-sorted into that label. It's a huge time saver for me because rather than having several hundred filters, which are Gmail's way of handling rules set up, I can just do this manual label and then not worry about replies getting missed or falling through the cracks. So an example, maybe I'm working on a project with Dwight. He's the only person I ever email. I can go down here. Before I send it out, go to my more options here, and there's labels right there. So the 3 dot is the menu or more options. Click on that and then click in here. Maybe I say project team, click apply. I'll send this off now. So it's an email I've sent. If Dwight replies to it, great, it's going to end up in project team. But if I need to reference it later, I can go to project team and find it there as well. So it's that easy to add that label on the front end. So guaranteeing it gets that label on a reply, but also saving you some consternation maybe when you're looking for it later on. It's something I use a lot, and it's something that I kind of love for those one-off situations that you wouldn't want to create a full filter or rule for. 2 other things when you think about sending emails. We send tons of emails throughout the day. The average office worker or the average person who uses email in a work environment sends 40 plus emails a day. And that's astounding, but if you think about it, it's probably accurate for you too, right? And there are a ton of features within sending emails that we never touch because we just want to get that email out. But there's 2 features that I like to highlight within composing emails in Gmail that can save you a little time down the road. So beyond just grabbing a label and putting onto a sent email, if we go back in to our compose window, click on our more options, templates are available. So historically, Gmail called these canned responses, and they're just what they sound like now. Canned response didn't make as much sense. Template does. It's a way for you to templatize an email. So if you have a form email that you send out once a week, twice a week, once a month, you can create a template for it. You can have up to 20 templates, and then you can grab those templates, edit them, and send them out without rewriting the entire email. And the other one that I get a lot of traction on with end users is scheduling something to send out later. We know sending an email on Friday afternoon at 4 p.m., most folks aren't going to read it, right? And then by Monday morning, it's probably beneath 30, 40, 100 plus emails. So if you schedule that to send out on Monday morning, maybe you get a better answer. So when you're thinking about sending an email and you're thinking about when you want it to land in someone's inbox, to the right of the send button, you can see there's a schedule send option. When you click on that, well, you do have to have a recipient. We're going to pick on my guy Dwight again. Are we going to tell me? Oh, no, there we go. It's going to give you some just canned options, right? So tomorrow at 8 a.m. or tomorrow at 1 p.m., those are good times, right? Hit them at 8 a.m. or 1 p.m. So they're getting right to their desk or their home desk or right back from lunch. Or you can pick a date and time. So you can get specific with when you want that to send out. There's no right or wrong answers here, but those are two features that I think can make you more effective at emailing and save you a little bit of time as well. Let's switch gears a little bit and let's not talk about sending emails anymore. Let's talk a little bit about how do you manage incoming emails. And in Gmail, there are a ton of options, and most of them you're probably well aware of. But there is one that I think a lot of folks forgets available or maybe get intimidated by. And so I wanted to spend a couple minutes on it today. So when I look at my inbox here, you can see I'm in the default out of the box Gmail setup, where the newest email, the most recent received emails at the top, and then it's just in a descending order from there. If I hover over inbox and click this drop down here, actually you can see there's other inbox types here. Most of you know this, right? I could change it to be unread first, or priority inbox or starred first. What you might not know is Gmail recently moved multiple inboxes over here as well. And this is the one that I think a lot of folks get intimidated by. So if I click into multiple inboxes, it's going to split my inbox into a few different sections, right? And I can minimize any of these sections. But now I see inbox, I see Sarah emails, and I see starred right here. What multiple inbox lets you do is create your own personalized view or views of specific parameters. So now that you know how to use search operators, multiple inboxes doesn't need to be as intimidating. To set this up, so I've enabled it, right? Under inbox, I clicked on multiple inboxes. I've enabled it. I haven't really set it up yet. To set it up, simply go into your settings gear, click on settings. And then up top here, you want to click on inbox. That's the inbox tab. And then this is where you actually set it up. And so I've set up one already, right? So I said the search query is from Sarah@demo.agosto.com. And then I name that section Sarah emails. But I could do another one, right? So I could say, I could say to Dwight, demo.agosto.com. I could just say, Dwight. I send a lot of emails to Dwight and I want to see those in my inbox as well. I can create that as a section. Right below that, you set how many emails or conversations you want to see for each of those sections. Let's just say 5. And then you can choose the position of it as well. So you can even do right of the inbox. So your actual inbox emails, and then on the right side, these sections that you've created. Let's look at this. Let's click save. And in theory, we should see our inbox, we should see starred, Sarah emails, and for whatever reason, there's no emails sent to Dwight. I think I've sent him a few. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to search through those emails to add them to that section. I'll hit refresh just to see if we can kind of prompt it a little bit. But either way, this gives you this flexibility to create your own sections within this inbox to now have your true inbox here, whether it's on the left side or below or above, and then these specific sections of your search operators that you've set up. I must have set it up wrong. That's okay. I can go back in and change it later. And the other nice thing about this is at any point, I could just go back to my default inbox plow through some of these regular emails, then go back to that view where I'm looking at those specific sections again. Maybe it's tied to projects. Maybe it's tied to specific senders, specific things I need to accomplish. I can do all that using those search operators and multiple inbox. So hopefully that gets you excited about those features. The last thing I wanted to talk about today is the newest feature. And if you weren't seeing multiple signatures, you might not see this yet either. But this one is really simple, but hopefully it's something that ties everything together again. You know that I love talking about specific features in G Suite that are able to bring together multiple G Suite applications or apps. So for this one, if you haven't seen it yet, if you click the little bubble down here, you can now actually start or join a meeting right from Gmail. So again, if you're not seeing it, don't panic. You can hit refresh, but it might just take a couple more days for you to see it. And the way this is pretty easy, right? So I can quickly start a meeting right from here.
TV Streeter, Joni Krolchak.
Yeah. Just gonna mute someone. There we go. So I can just start that meeting right from here. And then I can grab this information right here. Or if I click into it and no one else has been invited to it, it's gonna prompt me, right? It's gonna say, hey, you need to add others to this meet. So now I can copy this joining info, email it to someone, send a chat to someone. I don't know how else you'd get this information to them, but there's other ways to get it, I'm sure, as well. Put it in a doc, and then the folks can join from there. So it's that easy to start a Meet. And we know Meet has exploded, right? We're using it today for a training, but it's exploded in use from everywhere, right? And people are just using it to do these one-off meetings day to day. And so now to have it integrated into Gmail, it's that easy. Join a meeting is pretty easy too. Just click on join a meeting. If you already have the code, boom, pop that code in there and then click join from there. So as we wrap up today's section, I know I got a lot of chat questions coming in, so that's great. I'll hit those in just a second here. First, I want to say thanks for being patient with us. Sorry about the technical hiccups at the beginning. It looks like most folks were still able to join, so thanks for coming again. We're going to keep doing these weekly webinars. We love that you're here today. We love that you keep coming back and hopefully keep learning new things. We want your feedback and suggestions. I've asked a few weeks in a row, and most of you have been giving me some, so I'm going to ask again. I'm going to send that link through the chat. You'll probably see that come through. Click on that link, give us your feedback, your suggestions for future webinar ideas, topics, or how these webinars have gone for you. And then chat's open. A lot of you have already been using it. I'm going to hop into chat right now and start answering some of the questions here. But before I do that, before any of you drop off, I just want to say thanks again for joining. I keep saying this, be kind to yourself. This is a tough time, right? And so just the fact that you're here, willing to learn new things is awesome. We appreciate that. We appreciate you being with us. And hopefully we're getting maybe closer to the end, no matter what, each day. So thanks for coming. I'm going to start answering some of the questions in chat. Okay, all right. So the first one, it might have been already answered, but how can I see more than 50 open emails at once? That's a great question. So it's actually a setting. So within settings, if it's already been answered, I apologize. So in the gear in settings, right here, maximum page size. You're limited to do 100 at a time, but then you can do 100 per page, which is what I usually set it to. But you can go down to as few as 10, and you're probably just set at 50. Links to previous webinars. Yeah, great question. I'll grab that. Let me just see if I can pull it up quick here. Agosto.com/webinar. Just threw that into chat. So that's where all the previous ones of these are. So this is our 6th today. Thanks for joining. Oh, looks like it was answered. Awesome. Oh, okay, so I can go max 50. Todd, I apologize. I don't know why it's maxing out at 50 for you. The only thing I can think is maybe that's an admin setting. I don't know why that would be. But if you're not seeing 100, I don't know what it's doing to limit you. Has Google created the ability to control signatures on a domain yet? If not, do you know if this is roadmap? I can tell you they haven't created the ability to do that, and I honestly don't know if that's roadmap either, but what I can do is open up a feature request on that with Google, and I think they're pretty receptive to feature requests, and if it's something that a lot of folks want, I think maybe we'll get some traction on it, because like I said, we keep hearing things from end users, and then Google sometimes takes a little bit longer, but they correct most of those issues over time. Can we as admins stop the ability to use multiple signatures? That is an excellent question. I'll have to get back to you directly on that. I'll record who asked that and I can get back to you. I don't know offhand if that's an admin setting, and I usually am not in the admin panel, so I'll talk to our admins and see what they have for an answer on that. Great question. Coworker has complained that checking emails on an Apple device eliminates them from a PC view. Is there something to that or fix? Vicky, I apologize. I don't know what would be causing that. I'd probably need a lot more details, but one thing you could do is certainly open up a ticket with us at Agosto, or open up a ticket with your IT department if you don't know how to open up a ticket with us, and then they can open up a ticket with us and see. We'll probably need more details about what device, what OS, what app they're using, if they're using Gmail or the native mail app within Apple. And once we get some more of those details, we could maybe figure out what's going on. That's a good question. The better view of chat is turn on right side chat. Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm in this left side chat here, which is the kind of the default. But within settings, I think it's still under advanced. Yeah, you can just do this right side chat. And then if you enable that, it just puts chat on the right side. I'd say it's a personal preference, but if you think it's better, I'll agree with you because I don't use this chat very often. Oh, yeah, great point. So the request was, please send the information on the basic intro to Gmail. So I'm going to send that link right through the chat here. It's actually on our hub, so hub.agosto.com. We run a once a month 30-minute intro to Gmail training. And it just covers really the basics of how to even start using Gmail for new hires or folks who aren't as comfortable with it. So that's in the link right that I just sent. So check that out. Great question. How do you schedule a meeting in Gmail? That's a good question. I didn't really clarify that. You wouldn't schedule a meeting necessarily from Gmail. You would just be able to, maybe you're chatting with them right down here using it's classic here. You send them a message and they're like, hey, it'd be easier if we just talked in person or virtually. I can then click start a meeting and just send them the join info to join this Google Meet instead of sending messages back and forth. You can, without leaving the Gmail screen on the right side here, open up Calendar and create a meeting invite here too. So right, this is my today calendar at 5 p.m. I could create a meeting right here. And then add guests, for instance, right here. You spell it right. But that's not going to actually default to adding a meet to it. So it's probably better if it's just an ad hoc meeting or an ad hoc, you're chatting with them and you need some more clarification to just click start a meeting right here. So it's maybe not for meetings, but more for those quick conversations with coworkers because you're not in the office anymore. All right, can users be enabled to update their own account photos? Yes, that is an admin setting. I'm not quite sure where it is, but I can follow up with you on that. But yeah, they can be because I can actually do that on this. So I could update that photo. And then Todd, hit refresh on your screen. It might just be that you have to hit refresh or even just leave the window and come back to it for it to actually trigger showing you 100 at a time. That might be the solution to that. Sometimes it's just a refresh. All right, everyone. Most of you stuck through the questions. I don't have any more questions right now in there. I have a couple follow-ups that I need to do. I'll end the recording for today. And again, I'll thank everyone